Jimmy Dore, I respected you so much for being able to say once and for all that the Democrats were corrupt, that there was nothing that anyone can do to redeem them. And this was in the wake of the election when they really showed their true colors. You know, instead of being the anti-war party that we saw in the early to mid-2000s, suddenly they were all up in arms and wanted to essentially saber-rattle Russia. And you saw right through this. You saw right through the, oh, they hacked our election. You saw through Hillary Clinton. You saw through what they did to Bernie at the DNC. Now you're going back. Now I just got done watching an exchange between Jimmy Dore and Cenk Uygur about the Justice Democrats, which apparently is not going to take corporate money. It seems to be structured very much financially around the way that Bernie Sanders raised his money, and they're supposed to take over the Democratic Party, take over the DNC from within. Now, that seems all good and all. It seems like, oh, we're going to fix it from within. We're going to absorb their structure and come out on top. But I'll tell you why this is not going to happen. A, because you've decided not to take corporate money, and I believe that this is a very good step, do not get me wrong here, but you do leave yourself open to the fact that your enemies, even though they may not be more popular than you, they have much more money than you, and they will use it to destroy you. Believe me, they are not going to lose a wink of sleep at night doing so. And they've done this before. Think about all of the other progressive movements that have tried to take over the Democratic Party, not the least of which the Rainbow Coalition. Where did that go? It was co-opted. The people who supported that were largely the people that supported Hillary Clinton in 2016. But A, they have more money than you. B, you have no exit strategy. If you go through with the Justice Democrats, and I know the type who really, really want to believe this, they're doing it because they do not want to go to a third party which they believe will be ineffectual. Which says to me that, let's say, because the Justice Democrats, they're planning on running candidates in the primaries to basically primary all of these establishment incumbents and get into Congress that way. The problem with this is that if you lose the primary, which, given the monetary disparity, it's not a small likelihood that they'll lose, what do? There's no exit strategy. Are you going to vote for the establishment Democrat? Are you going to vote Green? Are you going to vote for some other independent? Not vote at all? Where's your exit strategy? You know what you're going to do? You're going to end up voting for the establishment Democrat because you have no credible threat and you're afraid of the Republicans. You've built up the Republicans to be such a boogeyman that you'll support anyone other than them. And as a result, you have no leverage over these corporate Democrats if you lose the primary, which, given the DNC, it seems they've most likely rigged. It's the exit voice loyalty model. You can voice your displeasure, and because this is a free country, you can. There really is no cost to it. But why would anybody with the power listen to you if you have no exit strategy? Here's what you should probably do instead. Because this Justice Democrats thing is just going to result in failure. It's another distraction from the work that really needs to be done. Here's what you want to do. A, you could pursue an immediate outside strategy through the Green Party, and I can understand why you may not want to do this because, well, the Green Party, even though it's definitely not a single-issue party, is seen as such, and it has not succeeded fully in getting the left on its side, mainly because in most states it acts almost as an environmentalist libertarian party rather than a party that's meant to be to the left of the Democrats. I happen to have lived in a state where even though it was very much left-wing, most of the left did not trust the Greens. So I understand why someone would not want to absorb their infrastructure. Here's what you do instead. And this does kind of involve being on the inside, and it is a bit of a longer game, which is sort of the trade-off to the immediate outside strategy. You get a whole bunch of people pretending to be establishment Democrats on the organization. You plant moles. Tons of them, because a lot of the people in the DNC are old right now, so there are going to be a lot of spots open to replenish. But they're not going to hire progressives. They're going to hire people who seem to be identical to them. So you got to get a bunch of moles. Unfortunately, these people have to have pretty much no progressive credentials, otherwise they'll just be seen for what they are, moles. So you have to get normal people who support this, who have been apolitical in the past to fill these posts. It'll be a challenge, but it can be done. And once you get enough of them in there, you set the date, and you break off simultaneously. Take the infrastructure of the DNC with you. Form a new party. You could call it the Labor Party if that's what you want to emulate. You could call it the Progressive Party if you wish. You have to go outside the party. Take the infrastructure with you. Now, does that mean that the corporate infrastructure of the DNC will wither away and die? No. Unfortunately not, because again, there's still that monetary disparity. You'll basically have to survive the next congressional election with whatever representatives break off with you. I mean, by survive, you don't even have to do all that well. Just get about 30 seats. That will do enough to cement your viability and build from there. Because once you're viable, and if you keep it that way, you'll be able to eventually supplant the Democrats' corporate structure. Or you'll end up being the NDP in Canada, who is perpetually in opposition. But you'll still be a thorn in people's side. At least that's better than what you are now. But you're not going to accomplish this by trying to take over the Democratic structure in the way that it is, with no intent of leaving. Because at that point, let me just put it this way. Imagine you've been cheated on 15 times by a partner of yours. You've caught this partner 15 times. You've tried to change your partner since, taking them back because you think that you would be able to do it. And you find that each successive time, the cheating gets a little more sneaky. It gets a little more nasty. And each time you think, oh, this is the time it's going to change, it never does. You've lost your leverage. You've shown that you will not leave. So Jimmy Dore, please do not go along with this. Please do not bring your audience to this, because it will result in failure. It will be a distraction.